This is what 1 week of meals look like for us, and today I'm going to show you how I prep all of this in the cheapest possible way in Japan.
Look, I love food, but given my unemployment, I really need to be as frugal as possible, especially in a city like Tokyo. So, meal prepping in advance can not only help me save money, but also time. Not only that, I can control what I put in my body and live in a somewhat healthy diet.
Bruh.
But I do have a challenge. I want to see if I can prep each meal to be, on average, less than 500 yen. So at the end of the video, I'm going to break down everything that I purchased and the price for each meal to see if I can eat on a budget in Tokyo. The only condition I have for this meal is that it needs to be somewhat balanced and nutritious. So I'm talking about some protein, some carbs, and vegetables. Otherwise, I can just go to any convenience store and buy a cheap lunch for about 500 yen. Alright, so let's go see what the supermarket has to offer. Okay, so the secret for this challenge is all in the shopping. That means you gotta be strategic and hunt for bargains. While Tokyo does have 2 Costco locations, we live a bit far from that. So we are at Hanamasa. What's that? Well, Hanamasa is essentially a bulk ingredient supermarket targeted for restaurants and large families. It's basically Japan's version of Costco and perfect for getting ingredients at a lower price point than your traditional supermarket. All right, let's get in there. So for this week's meal prep, we are planning to make taco rice and Japanese ginger rice. So for the ginger rice, we're gonna need things like ginger, minced chicken thigh meat, eggs, some spice, and we're planning to also throw in some squash and edamame in there for some extra protein. So for our taco rice, we're going to use beef as our base protein. We also like to throw in a couple of veggies in there, such as like cherry tomatoes, lettuce, avocado, or whatever that is kind of in season. And for our seasoning, we also like to get some salsa and of course our taco seasoning for our beef. And of course, while we're here, we also like to shop for other things such as snacks, our drinks, dinner for the week, and of course, some ice cream. Really a great place for getting everything you need at an affordable price point and high quality. Can you guess how much we spent for this trip? Alright, so we are back from Hanamasa, and this is everything that we got. So the trick for this challenge of keeping our costs low is to make sure that we keep our ingredients as simple as possible. So in order for us to do that, we make sure our meals are simple. So therefore, there's only 2 meals for this week, and we just recycle it throughout the rest of the week. And this also helps keeps the cooking process a lot shorter. Alright, now let's get cooking, shall we? Alright, so the first step of this cooking process is you want to prep all your veggies. This means that I'm going to peel all the gingers and chop everything I need to, also while simultaneously boiling all the veggies and the eggs to save time. How much do I peel? I'm not good at this. Can you do this for me? Broccoli first, and we're just gonna boil this for about a few minutes. Add some salt. So, okay, so next I'm gonna fry this squash here. Wow! Right. So I'm gonna add a little bit of olive oil. Now while that's going, the eggs are ready. The water is ready for eggs. One cracked.
Bruh.
My eggs are going. Nice! What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut them into half pieces, just like that. Ah, perfect. Thanks. Now that these tomatoes are good, just pop them in here. Nice. My squash is ready. I'm going to put my squash. Just set them aside to let them cool. Okay, so I'm just gonna chop my lettuce very casually. This is just gonna be for the taco rice, and whatever leftover we're gonna use for salad. And I'm want to store it in this container.
Edamames are super high in protein and low in calories. Super easy to make.
We bought these already peeled, ready to go. Do about that much. And then for these guys, I like to add sesame oil, some black pepper, some salt. Give that.
Super simple. Veggies are all prepped.
So the second step is to cook the meats. I'm gonna cook the beef and make sure that all the fat is all cooked out, and then I'm gonna get some paper towels in there to soak out the excess fat, and then throw in the taco seasoning along with some water. I think I used like at least 20 sheets of paper towel for this beef fat. Oh yeah! This is where all the flavors and some water, and then for the chicken ginger, I will saute the ginger first and then throw in the chicken meat along with the seasoning required for it. Alright, the meat is now done, as you can see. And then the last step is super simple, it's just to assemble everything together. So we put our rice into our rice containers, and that will just go into the freezer straight away. And then after that, we just get a couple of containers to store out the beef and the chicken and also the veggies along with it. Alright, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. This is our 5.5-day meal prep. So we have our ginger chicken here with edamame and squash. And then over here we have our taco rice beef, which when we do decide to eat, we will then add our veggies over here onto the taco rice. And then we have our boiled eggs, which we will then crack and use for each of the meals.
Good morning, it's the next day, so I just wanted to show you guys how we make our taco rice. We basically just reheat the rice and the beef and add all the ingredients in for the taco rice. So there you have it, ladies and gents.
So it's me from the future. I'm here to tell you how much we spent in total for everything. And so we made a total of 6 meals per person. So 12 meals in total, which is split between our taco rice and ginger rice. So our taco rice came to about 3,100 yen total, which is about 500 yen per meal. So it's a little bit more expensive because beef is actually pretty expensive here in Japan. And also we used a lot of expensive ingredients such as avocados, taco seasoning, which was pretty pricey. If you're able to make your own seasoning, you can probably make this a lot cheaper. But we also use a lot of other ingredients in general, like lettuce, broccoli, salsa, tomato, cheese, etc. While we didn't use a lot, it did add up quite a bit. The other thing I want to mention is that rice is actually quite an expensive staple here in Japan. I'm not really sure why, I didn't really look into it. So yeah, that's the cost for the taco rice. Ginger rice is definitely a lot cheaper at a total of 1,800 yen for the week. Each meal comes out to about 300 yen, which is really cheap. The chicken thigh meat is a lot more cheaper than the beef, and the ingredients that we use here is also a lot more simple. So the only thing I didn't add into the calculation are the seasonings. Typically they don't really cost that much, realistically speaking, so I didn't really add them in. Wouldn't really change much of the calculation in general. So as you can tell, the ginger rice is definitely a lot cheaper here compared to the taco rice. I do love to eat beef, so I think it's worth it for that little extra cost. Alright, so that means our average cost per meal comes out to be about 410 yen per meal. So I think this is actually pretty okay. I know there are people out there who can meal prep for, I don't know, like $1 or something really crazy cheap. But given the fact that we do actively go to the gym and then we do need a good source of protein through our meats and vegetables, I think this is actually a really good deal. Not only that, meal prepping for us saves us a lot of time in the morning every day. So we don't have to like think about what we have to cook, and we don't actually have to put in all that work in doing dishes and cooking. So yeah, I think that this is amazing how it saves us a lot of time and money throughout the week. I definitely think that we can be a little bit more cheaper, especially if we use more cheaper protein. But I do love my taco rice. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you think that this is on average to your home country, or do you think this is lower or higher? I'm curious to hear how you guys meal prep in your home countries. So that's it for this video. I hope you guys found this helpful, and thanks for watching. Bye.